Come on now. Y'all already know what this is. First things first. God did this. Don't get mad with us. I'm your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight. Angie, come on now. And our newest night to Exclusive Nights Podcast. Come on now. Always giving you the news that you can use. Sean Diva's here with us. And of course, we got the one man and the only man that can check you into the Heartbreak Hotel. And that's the Heartbreak Prince himself. Look, we got a lot of new things coming out today, man. But before we talk about the show, we got a little clip. We got to give from my man, Mr. Exclusive, giving his exclusive thoughts for the week. Y'all check it out.
Hello, Knights of the Roundtable. It's your man, Mr. Exclusive, and I'm here with some exclusive thoughts on the week. Now, obviously, I can't be there for the full episode today, but I wanted to give my thoughts on the week so that way you can at least have some vision from Mr. Exclusive. First, my thoughts on Raw. Shout out to Jey Uso, who knows how to cut a promo when it comes to family. I thought he did a really good job on that. Him and Jimmy really did a good job of pushing the narrative for WrestleMania 42 with the Punk and Roman match, and also gives you the thought, will the Bloodline interfere? Maybe, maybe not, but we shall see. Also, Judgment Day turning on Finn. Finally, Finn is free. Now we can see the Finn that we all know and love. Now, NXT thought the Birthright was our idea. Go back, check the tapes. We did that. We made the name. We made the name. We had the idea. We put 3 of the members in the Birthright before it even happened. So I'm just saying, go back and check the tapes. That's on us. Then a quick TNA thought. Ricky Sosa, Bang Bang Sosa. Watch out, this kid is going to be phenomenal, and I'm glad he's getting his shine on TNA. And then last but not least, my Smackdown thought. Thank God for 09 Randy Orton. This is a masterpiece, and I'm glad they turned him heel because we cannot have Cody win at WrestleMania. All right, Knights of the Round Table, thank you all for listening to my quick thought, and you guys enjoy a great show from Eric Knight, the HB Prince, and our newest Knight, Sean Diva. Until next time, this has been an exclusive thought from Mr. Exclusive.
I felt that. I felt that a whole 100%. What's going on, BJ?
BJ.
Good to see you, man.
Hi, good morning.
Man. Look, I know what y'all thinking. Man, what else y'all got next? Look, now, for some of our very first viewers, y'all know we did a segment called Know Your Wrestling, and now we about to bring this back, baby. So let's go ahead and let's see who truly does know their wrestling. All right, now. All right. Now, question is, The Miz is always known for saying that he's a 2-time Grand Slam champion, but he's not the only one that is a Grand Slam champion. Who are the other 2 Grand Slam champions? Now, I'm going to let the people in the chat answer that question. Sean Deven, you got it too. Heartbreak Prince, you got it as well. Shout out to the stat man, giving that up as always. Pause. I felt like that sounded crazy. But yeah, giving us that great question. Appreciate your stat, man. Love to see that, man. What's up, Zach? Man, come on. Yes. Come on, giving us the national
potato chip. A national potato chip day? No problem. I think I can get a potato chip or 2 today. Yeah,
I'm saying.
I need some potato chips.
That's a good one. I can handle that.
Yeah, I already know what I'm about to get. I'm probably gonna get me some cheddar sour cream and onion.
Oh, there you go.
There
you go. There you go. There you go.
I always get me some Tostitos.
Hey, come on. Hey.
Oh, that'll be good too.
Hey, come on now. Hit up, man. Come on, man. Come on.
Tostitos has the guacamole chips. That's good.
They are good. Yes.
Yes.
Their guacamole chips are pretty good. Yeah.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I love that. I love that. All right, now, people, look, now y'all see the question. All right, so y'all go ahead and we're gonna give the answer at the end of the show. All right, so y'all go ahead and think about that, ponder that question, and ask yourself, what if? No, let me stop. Let me stop. All right, now.
Is this Marvel?
I know.
Yes, that's what I went to.
Oh man. Oh man. All right. Look. I ain't gonna lie, man. Man. This week, WWE was it was something. I ain't gonna lie. Raw was I mean, the beginning of Raw was a little bit of a shuffle, should I say. Wasn't bad. Wasn't too bad.
It wasn't.
NXT, hey, I had a few of my favorite things I like to see as always. And SmackDown, man, was it really the best part of the end of the week? I think so. What's up, Ashley? Good to say. Oh,
Ashley.
okay. She said, Ron, we're gonna see. We're gonna give those answers at the end now. Don't rush it. Don't rush it now. We got you. Oh man. Well, let's go ahead and kick it off and talk about the 2 hours and 30 minutes of fire. Monday Night Raw, baby. Shout out to Drew, man. Giving that heat as always.
Hey, Drew
man.
is putting down fire.
Man,
Thank
come
you, Drew.
on. Man.
We appreciate you.
As always, man.
The hidden knight.
Come on. Hey, he always say that too. He like, man, you know, I'm behind the scenes.
Blade.
I said, we know it.
Yeah, the hidden blade. Drew.
The hidden blade, boy. We proud of you as always, man. Oh, man. All right, let's talk about this Monday Night Raw, man. This was a little interesting in the beginning of the show. I ain't gonna cap. This made me laugh. Because they kicked this one off. Oh, man, this was a funny
Flash
one
mob.
right here.
Flash mob,
Man.
black, all in black. Flash mob. That's what I started saying.
They had Adam Pearce. Okay, Adam Pearce was out there trying to address Seth Rollins, calling Seth Rollins out. He said, look, you're not medically cleared, and I need to know, and I need to really get some answers out of you. So he called Seth Rollins out. And wasn't nothing but a bunch, about 30 dudes, 30 masked men that came out there. I said, what in the hell is this? I said, all right, this is crazy. Then they said, Seth, well, why don't you come up in here? They wasn't nothing but a damn shuffle. Everybody just shuffling up in. I couldn't stop laughing at it. I ain't gonna lie, this made me laugh multiple times.
To the Cupid shuffle.
Now you look at it, it's just like to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right.
I thought this was funny, man. Hey,
to the right.
Yeah. Man, come on, y'all gonna make me say the rest for some reason. This is crazy. Hey, BJ talking about the hokey pokey. You stupid.
Not the hokey pokey.
Oh, man. But finally, with all the other masked men coming, Seth unveils himself and unmasks himself. I said, well, it's about damn time we finally see one person that's an actual masked man. Okay, and he talks about how he needs his revenge on the Vision, how he's coming back, why he tried to kind of explain why he was about to do what he was doing. Until then, the actual Vision comes out. Logan Paul, unfortunately, and Austin Theory.
Boo.
They come out. Logan Paul apparently got this beef with Seth Rollins, but I thought this was crazy. I said, well, you wasn't even in the Vision when Seth was around, so this don't make no sense, but I'm gonna let that slide. So they came in. They're coming and walking into the ring. They're saying that they're gonna beat Seth Rollins' ass. I said, man, you ain't gonna do none of that. And of course that didn't happen. Because Seth already done called the rest of his minions, and what they do, they just shuffled around again, and they just all escaped and ran out the ring. I said, man, come on, what is this? But then, with the Vision still around, LA Knight, coming out, trying to get his hands on Logan Paul and get his hands on Austin Theory. But of course, you know how the math go. Okay, 2 + 1 = 3. But when you got 2 against 1, it ain't gonna work that same way. Okay, of course, the Vision getting the upper hand on LA Knight until the Usos. I mean, they was on all bull on Monday. I ain't gonna cap. Coming out, helping LA Knight. And you know what it is, man. Once they seen a 3-man, man, it was getting to the point where the Usos was about to hit a 1D, okay, on Logan Paul. But Austin Theory grabbing Logan Paul and classic heel work right here, escaping before it all comes to an end for him. Then we flash forward. I ain't gonna lie, man. This was a little this one kind of had me here with this, man. We had the women's gauntlet match to be facing AJ Lee for the Women's Intercontinental Champion. Now, we had Io Sky beating Lyra Valkyria. Okay. Then the next person that came out after that, we had Raquel. Now, the crazy thing is with Raquel, Liv Morgan came out, tried to distract Raquel. I said, all right, come on, let's do something with this. But then, of course, good old Lyra Valkyria. Well, actually, before that even happened, let me go ahead and fix myself. Okay. Because once Liv was out there, we had Stephanie Valkyria, La Primera. Okay, coming out and starting to beat the hell out of Liv Morgan. I said, man, y'all going crazy with this. With Io getting the roll-up pin on Raquel. Then Raquel, after that, you got to be here. You got to do what you got to do, okay? Start to, get a little bitter. Kind of start to beat the hell out of Io. But then Ivy Nile comes out. I said, all right, Ivy, and pin Io Sky. I said, oh, that changed it up for me because I thought Io Sky was still somehow going to kick out of this, but she didn't. I said, all right, well, what are we going to do with that? And then after, Ivy Nile beats Io Sky, we had Bailey coming out, beating Ivy Nile. Up next, I said, all right now. All right, okay. I see what y'all doing here. At the same time, though, I did want to see Ivy kind of get a little bit more, but it's all good. But then, who comes out next? We had, man, and I ain't gonna lie, this was actually not a really good match going on because it just brought back some memories for me. We had Asuka, okay, coming out, but Bailey getting the dub over Asuka. Now, in the midst of that, Kairi Sane tried to come out. You know how it is with Kairi. Trying to come and help Asuka, but Lyra Valkyria came and evened the odds, and Bailey still getting the dub over Asuka. Then we flash forward. Man, Penta beating. Now, this ain't even the original El Grande Americano, okay, because it was supposed to be the original El Grande Americano, but Danhausen sees El Grande, gives his little speech to him. And El Grande say, look, I ain't got time right now. I got a match to get ready for. Danhausen is going here just cursing anybody and everybody at this point. And I say, man, come on, Dan. So, of course, we seen the other Americanos. They were backstage. Of course, we didn't see it, but we know they beat the hell out of the original Grande Americano. And then, of course, we see the quote-unquote second El Grande Americano. But then still, Penta getting the dub over El Grande. Then we flash forward. Now, this is when I thought it turned up right here. I said, y'all doing something with this. Everybody's talking to Finn. They're saying, to Finn, what's going on with you? This ain't the same Finn that we know. This ain't the same Finn that we need, And said to myself, well, what the hell is going on here? Okay. Finn gets to the point, he gets upset. And he said, maybe your father is right. Maybe you are a spoiled little prick. I said, okay. Okay, but it got to the point to where Dirty Dom kind of disrespects and mushes Finn. And Finn turns around, hits that good old Pele kick, and turns on Dom and turns on the Judgment Day. But, man, again, when you 4-on-1, man, the math don't be mathing at that point for you, bro. Because they just started just wailing, going crazy. Then it got to the point where we seeing this man. Oh, man, I was mad. JD, okay, turning on Finn. helping the Judgment Day. I said, man, what is going on here? Come on, JD. And then it got to the point to where the attack was just going crazy, man. I said, man, y'all just doing too much with this, man. They beat the hell out of Finn. I mean, it got to the point to where they took a steel chair. Dirty Dom goes up and hits a frog splash on Finn. And I said, man, look, I would have liked this a little bit more if Dirty Dom still had the title, you know. But again, this is about to be like a grudge match, probably going for Mania. I can see this being something. We'll see. Then we flash forward, man, to the ruler, Oba Femi, okay, beating Rusev. And this was a good match right here. I thought this was perfect for Oba. I thought this looked good. This made him look strong. This really showed, look, I ain't just about to be hitting little dudes out here, pause. I'm out here getting the big, meaty men, pause. I said, that's what I'm talking about, Oba. Way to put in that work. And I thought this was great, man. This looked good. And of course, you know how it is with Oba. Oba just having a vial of water somehow in the middle of the match, just spritzing water after he done sat there and hit a whole power. But I said, man, you crazy for this, man. But then we flash forward to the end of the show where CM Punk comes out. First, he talks about, you know, maybe I stooped too low to a level, talking about the whole thing with Roman Reigns, talking about Roman Reigns' father. But then the Usos come out. And Jay, first of all, Jay was pissed. Jay was upset. You heard what Mr. Exclusive said. Jay was pissed off, walking around, pacing, yelling. I love what Jimmy did, though. Jimmy, to me, I thought had the better composure in this. You know, he was real serious, kind of stood his ground. I like how he was just kind of just standing there, holding his position. I said, yeah, Big Jim, that's why Naomi love you. That's why she love you, bro. And I loved everything about this. But it came to the point where they said, this ain't even about Roman. This is about family. You need to do your thing and apologize. It even came to the point where the crowd started saying, apologize, apologize, say you're sorry, say you're sorry. Then CM Punk said, you know what, you're right. I'm sorry. And it wasn't even like a real sorry. This man said, I'm sorry that Roman's been lying to you. I'm sorry that Roman's been using you. I'm sorry that even to the point where I said, man, come on, CM Punk. This might be a time when I actually can kind of agree with you on some of this. He said, I'm sorry that. I said, man, you can't be for real. He said, I'm sorry that he used you guys. I'm sorry that it got to this point. I said, Punk, what are you doing here? He said, I'm sorry to the point to where you can't even understand to where Roman couldn't apologize to Cody what he said about his father, but now I'm in the situation where I have to apologize. Oh, and the Usos was pissed about that. And it got to the point to where Jimmy and Jay kind of clocked CM Punk. And this is the finish right here. Now, I ain't gonna lie, man. I ain't gonna lie. I think Monday Night Raw overall wasn't a bad show. It had a pretty good show going forward. Honestly, again, there's a few things I got to talk about real quick. Seth Rollins and this whole thing with the minions, this shuffle thing. And we're gonna keep doing this. I promise you, I can't take it serious because of how they just scramble. And they do. I'm like, yo, what is this? I think it's more of a thing to where maybe if y'all just stood as a group and one masked man just goes into the ring, all right, cool. And maybe y'all surround the ring. Kind of gives more of a dominating force kind of feel, you know, just like a real kind of huge group. Like, yo, who are these? I like that maybe a little bit better. The shuffling, maybe we can figure this out. I get it at the same time. You shuffle a bunch of people, but it's almost like if y'all played that, what is it? You put a ball in like a ball with 3 cups, and you got to follow the cup with the 3 balls.
I never lost track of Seth Rollins the whole time.
That's what I'm saying. I literally just followed him the whole time.
Yeah.
Swag and swerve, sir. That's what they was doing.
I said, what is this? I mean, again, they might have something with this. I thought that was hilarious for real. Again, Oba killing it as always, being the ruler. Love to see that from you, Oba. Did your thing. And yeah, I mean, again, Finn, about damn time. Finn is finally free. Finally free. Now I know some people saying, oh, well, maybe Finn might come back as the demon. There's no reason for that right now. There's no purpose of the demon coming back. That makes no sense. What I think, honestly, and when I think he'll probably go in the direction of coming back as the Prince. You need to come back as NXT Finn as the Prince. That's what you need, Finn. That gives you that edge. We need to see everything with the Prince in the background. I need to see it in the all black. I need to see it be back on that bull. I need to see that rugged side of you. That's what I need out of you, Finn. And I think he can definitely do that going forward. And then, of course, the end of the show, man. I mean, this whole thing with Punk and with Roman's family, I think so far this is looking pretty good. At first I was like, this might be going all over the place, but I do think this has some potential now. Again, we knew the story was kind of there, but I think this adds another layer to it, especially with the Usos having a problem with it. And of course, Roman's going to be back on Monday, so we'll see how that goes. So, but overall, I would say this was a pretty good show. I'm not too mad about this. I won't say this was the best Raw, but I think this was a very good Raw to actually watch. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
For me, Raw was okay. I thought it was dry for the most part. To me, it only had two segments that I really thought were good, and that was what's happened with Finn, which is probably my favorite part of the show. And then the end. The women's gauntlet match was okay, but for some reason, I guess I don't know, the way it started was so unserious. And then the rest of the show just did not have the energy for me particularly. I feel like they could have thought of a better way, maybe turned out the lights or something like that for Seth. And maybe at that point they got out of the ring. They all are out of the ring, and now you don't know where he is amongst the group as they're leaving or whatever. I just feel like once they started doing the whole shuffling thing, I just thought it just looked goofy. and then you had, and Ashley pointed out, and I thought the same thing. There was a couple of people that weren't even Seth's size, in there being mixed around. It's like, well, we know it's obviously not that one, and so I don't know. It just, for me, knowing that WrestleMania is a few weeks away. I wanted more out of a show at this point in time to try to build something towards WrestleMania and to try to get that excitement. And I don't think any of these things did it besides Finn Balor's match, mostly because we know we can get that at WrestleMania. With CM Punk and the Usos, we already know it's already set up for Roman Reigns to face him. But to get to what I don't like about the thing with Finn Balor, and I think that WWE missed here, was that Dom should have still had the Intercontinental Championship, and I think it would have made this that much better and more exciting for WrestleMania. To have Finn, to have this dissension within the Judgment Day. Dom has kind of taken over the Judgment Day as a leader, although they have said for a long time now the Judgment Day has no leaders. But if you've really just been watching, Dom comes off more as the leader of the group. He's followed by the women for sure. Well, I can say followed by them, but they pay more attention to him than JD and Finn. And then also we saw what McDonough did. He's aligned strongly with the Judgment Day to the point that he turned on his closest ally, which was Finn, in the Judgment Day, and his tag team partner, and attacked him. This would have been so good if Dom still had the Intercontinental Championship, and this became a match at WrestleMania. But now that there's nothing like that on the line, and it's just Finn leaving the Judgment Day, pretty much being beat out of the game, then I just feel like you could just do this on a regular Monday Night Raw, like have a match between them, because to me the weight of it is gone. There's no championship on the line. So for me, it just takes away from this being a WrestleMania worthy match to see. Then when we get down to to CM Punk and the Usos, I love the segment here. I love the tension that was in the air in this promo. And I love how they were so good at what they did that they got the crowd to play into both sides. So I'm seeing it CM Punk's way. Some seeing it the Usos way. I really enjoy when they can get promos to that level to where it really shows that fans are torn. And so I think they had it. Where I think it fell short though is that I thought for Jay to be as angry and as frustrated as he was, and he kept talking about him needing to apologize, and the fact that the apology he gave him was not the apology they were there for. There should have been more of an attack on CM Punk, other than the one punch and stop. Like it's that start stop, and there you go. But it's like no. If Jimmy's gonna be the cool head in here, and cool heads are gonna prevail, let Jay do what Jay does. Let him lose his cool, let him flip out, and let him attack Punk and go in. Let Jimmy be the one to stop him and try to talk sense him like, hey, we got this, we'll fix this, we'll get it, we'll make him pay in our way. And if you have an interference at WrestleMania and the bloodline helps cost CM Punk the world championship, then we know that's their get back, right there. But I thought that for the segment to be as good as it was, as far as the tension it caused, I just felt like it should have gone further, especially with, like I said, with the attitude that Jay had and the pacing, and you could see the energy he had as far as I want to fight. So let him go for a little bit and then break him up.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that, man. I said the same thing. I said, man, I feel like there should have been more of like just a few more hits, something.
Yeah,
I was like, one hit and then you walk off.
Yeah.
Man,
because like, then what was the purpose of coming out here? Y'all said y'all was looking for CM Punk at the beginning of the show, and it took you all show to find him. Like, how hard is this guy to find?
Right.
Like, what is happening around here? That's another question that I just will never get answered. But the man walked out there and cut a whole long promo before y'all got out there. But yeah, but that was my little ticks, my little tit for tat things when it comes to, like I said, the few good segments. Other than that, I just did not care for this episode of Raw.
I feel that. Sean Diva, what's your thoughts, girl? What you think?
Well, for me, typically on Monday nights, I go to sleep. Because it's not attention grabbing. On Fridays is where it's at. Friday night Smackdown for me is where it's at. But I did stay up. I was interested. The whole Seth thing, all that. I'm just like, what are y'all doing? To me, sometimes it feels like they're just throwing stuff to the wall, essentially, and let's see if this sticks. They're not really thinking it through. And I know with watching like Unreal, like they have to think on the fly. But again, y'all need to really, if y'all think you're looking at storylines, it has to make sense. Like you said, it could have been something different. They could have cut the lights off and now everybody's standing in the ring. It could have been something. And when we were watching, that's Seth. It could have been done better for that. The gauntlet match I enjoyed. I didn't get the person that I wanted to win. I had my two people that I wanted to win. And I'm just like, okay, so Bayley's gonna go. What you gonna do with what's gonna happen to Bayley? What I would have really liked for when Bayley was in the ring, you know how they played like she had this other persona. Why are we not? They do stuff and then they stop with it. Like, see it all the way through. I would have liked for Bayley for that, or for Lyra to come out and maybe slap her and be like, "Girl, get with it. Come on. I know it's in there. Get it to give us something." And it's just like, eh. So all in all, I enjoyed everything they did for me. The women did a great job all together, but I wanted more. It's like, you had me right there, but it's just not, it's not there for me. I'm trying to think of what else that happened. Oh, the one thing I wanted to touch on, this Natty and Maxine Dupree thing. Can y'all wrap this up? I'm tired. What are y'all doing with this? What are you doing with this? Like, okay, and I commend Natty. I really do commend her because when she started, I was like, okay, girl, what you trying to say? Spit it out, please. Spit it out. And then she got into her character at the end. But we tired of that. Either y'all, what are y'all gonna do with this? Stop. Please stop. So then for me, the whole Finn Balor, that whole thing, because I'm new to wrestling, I'm just like, okay, where does he go from here? I'm always when I'm watching, okay, what could the storyline be? What is going to be the benefit of him being alone by himself? What's gonna happen? What's gonna occur in that? My highlight of Monday Night Raw was, Oba. Yes, I love that. That was a fight that I wanted to see, and it did not disappoint. I was hollering at the screen. I be hollering, y'all, when I be watching wrestling. But that was my highlight. That was my highlight. And then the segment with CM Punk and the Usos, I need to see Jimmy more. I really, 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 and I know that he has things going on in the background because I want Naomi to hurry up and go on and drop that baby, do your little maternity and everything. Come on back. I miss you. I miss you so bad. But I know he has things, but I need to see Jimmy more. Jimmy is good on the mic. Like his mic skills is excellent. Like to, Prince, why are you holding him? Go ahead and let Jay crash out. I need Jay to go ahead and turn completely heel for me. You did your baby face, turn heel. Let him go. Let him crash out. I want to see that.
Yeah.
And that's it. But I want to know, what are y'all going to do with it? Okay, y'all said that he needs to apologize. Okay, then play off of that. Have Solo and the MFTs. Have them be like, okay, well, we got this lantern. We have this lantern, and I'm tired of the lantern. I know we're going to get to that. I'm tired of the lantern. But since they like taking people's stuff and keep taking stuff, maybe, just maybe, CM Punk's dog Larry, maybe get his ashes. There you go. That will intrigue me. Keep the mess going. Be messy. If you're going to be a heel, be a heel. But that's my take. That's it. That's all.
Yeah,
very
I feel
good.
that.
Hey, I understand.
Yeah. I definitely feel you on a lot of that, man. Especially on Oba. I thought he looked amazing.
Yeah.
Definitely for his match with Rusev. But yeah, I feel
And
that.
that man
Some people,
picked up Rusev and threw him. I said,
Right.
the feat of strength. That's
and
pure
then the
might.
water. then just the water.
That Rusev
Where
is
is this
not
water coming from?
right, and Rusev is not a little dude. These people are not. When you go live and you see them, like TV is a different thing, but when you see them in person, he is not. That man is not little, and he threw him like a rag doll. I want you to understand. Oba, yes, sir. Go keep.
And shout out to Rusev for putting him over like that. I mean, that
yeah, that says a lot.
Yeah, because I'm sure Rusev is probably feeling a little, betrayed by WWE as far as the way they booked him since he's returned back. And it's like, when are we gonna get Rusev Day? We've been asked for that for a minute. We haven't gotten that, and it just hasn't been the same for Rusev on his second stint here with WWE. But but he still did his job, and he did well. That was a good match.
Yeah.
For the 3 minutes that it was.
It's okay. What's up, Lifehack? I like what you said. Liv
Hey,
versus
Lifehack,
Steph.
how you doing? Thank you for
Good
watching.
to see you. Yeah. I think that whole thing with Liv and Steph was all right too. Wasn't bad. Honestly, it's a nice little small build I think they're doing. I'm kind of surprised though too, because it's like sometimes I almost forget Liv won the damn Rumble unless Dirty Dom got the shirt on and she says that she's the greatest Royal Rumble winner of all time.
Hey, they need to give Stephanie back her music, man. I mean, her new theme song is okay, but her original one slapped. That's what got me into vibing with her. Her original music, man, they need to get that back. I don't know why they had to change it. I don't know if it was a license thing, money thing. But WWE got plenty of that. So they should have been able to afford to let this lady keep her music that's synonymous with her. I mean, that,
I'm saying, man.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not gonna cap. They're W right now is notorious for just making unnecessary music like theme song change for no
Yes.
reason. It'd be like,
Yes. And
why?
you and you
Yeah,
and
we do
you're
love
sitting there
Liv,
like,
DJ.
and I'm sitting there like,
Absolutely.
well, what happened to their old music? Like, I don't like, what is this? I'd be like, what is it? I'd be looking around like, what is it? I don't like
Who
this.
is
Stop it.
this? Because then you don't even know who it is until they
Right.
come out.
And you're
Oh,
like,
damn,
well,
I don't know, man. They gotta stop doing that. I'll tell you this right now, like I'll tell you this, y'all better not change Tricks music. Y'all
Oh,
please
no.
better
don't.
not change that. Don't
Oh,
you
no.
dare touch that.
That lives
Oh,
rent
Don't you
free in
dare
my
touch that
head.
down.
I'm
That
telling you,
lives
man.
rent
Me,
free in my head all the
Um,
time. When the people be
yeah.
talking to me at work, and I'd be like,
Yep. Him and Oba's, yeah,
yes,
I love, yes,
yes.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and the way they've done Trick's new intro, I absolutely, rock with it. I mean,
Yeah.
I like it. My favorite is just the slow head turns from side to side,
Right.
on the thing. Yeah,
I'm
I
like, oh,
love it. Yeah,
that's that man trick, boy.
yeah.
What's up, Nicole? Good to see you join up
Hey
with
Cole,
us.
how you doing, love?
Oh man. But we talked about some of the possible mid things that happen on Monday Night Raw. And now it's time to talk about that man Sean. Cooking it up with
On my
NXT.
favorite show.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, that one's still a classic. I don't give a damn what nobody say. That one right there, boy, still a classic. Shout out to Drew, man. Shout out to Drew, giving us bangers, man. NXT, man. Look, I thought NXT was a good show. Sean, I ain't gonna say this was a great show. It had some great moments, but this was still a really good show. Of course, this is probably the best show of the week. Honestly, we say this all the time. But I love there's a few things I definitely got to talk about because they had some good things that happened this week, man. They kicked this one off. Okay, y'all see it. Tatum Paxley. She gave a speech. Pretty much. I mean, talking about, how when she won the NXT champion, she won it for Izzy. She won it for the color. I said, okay, I get that. But she said that this title right here, she won it for herself and she won it for the people. I said, all right, Tatum, I see you going completely babyface. I love this. But again, I've been saying this. Tatum should have been had this title since she was trying to get it from Sexy Red when they first introduced this title. So I love this for you, Tatum. But then Izzy Dane comes out, and I thought this was actually kind of crazy. She said, you keep trying to fool these people like you all this and you all that. And she showed a clip of Tatum Paxley of who she was when she first got to NXT. And we talking about NXT 2.0, by the way. Okay. Showed pretty much her whole history. I said, man, this is actually kind of crazy. I forgot that Tatum was like that. But then Izzy getting the upper hand, starting to beat the hell out of Tatum Paxley. And now, of course, with the rest of the company following up, and this is how I was looking for her. So we'll see what happens. Because the more came about after this, I promise y'all. Then we flash forward to this triple threat match right here. Now, I thought this was great. All right. We had Sean Legacy, okay, going up against, my long lost cousin, Eli Knight, and Jasper trying. Now, what I loved about this segment, boy, I gotta talk about this real quick. Real quick. The most thing I loved about this segment right here was seeing the crash out himself, Keanu Carver, taking Jasper Troy and put him into the announce table and looking at Booker and say, keep my name out your mouth. I done told you that. Stay in your lane. I said, oh, okay. Yeah. And again, we're seeing the big guys taking out other big guys. I love this for Keanu Carver, by the way. So this was great. But then we flash forward Gotta talk about this. Now, this was very interesting right here, and I thought this was great to see. Okay, we had a tag team match. All right, we had Lexis King and Uriah Connors. Okay, from the Birthright, going up against Charlie Dempsey and Tavion Heights. Now, things look smooth, things look cool, but until when Charlie Dempsey was out there with Tavion Heights, Tavion like, appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man. We got each other. And then you see Fit Finley and William Regal. Again, Fit Finley, the father of Uriah Connors, and William Regal, the father of Charlie Dempsey. I said, hold up now. What are we doing with this? I love this. Absolutely. And then to the point to where Charlie Dempsey turns on my man Tavion Heights and then joins the Birthright to the point to where Lexis King gets the dub, and it is now Charlie Dempsey joining the Birthright. I said, well, look at this. Look at this. I loved everything about this right here. Then we flash forward to Tony D'Angelo. Now, he cut a hell of a promo, said that he's back on that quest for gold, and he really called out Joe Hendry. He said, look, this isn't personal. He said, it's not, if this was me a year ago, I tell you, this isn't personal. It's just business. But he said, nah, I'm not that man anymore. This is personal. I need to get this NXT champion. I said, hold on, Tony. Hold on now. Now, he's on the quest for this, and I thought this was incredibly a great promo. And we're going to see what happens with him and Joe Hendry soon. I ain't going to lie. I'm all for it if Tony D'Angelo gets that title. Then we flash forward. Oh, man. Banger of a match right here. We had Sol Ruka going up against Laney Reed, and I thought this was great. Fatal Influence tried to interfere a little bit, didn't really work out. Laney Reed trying to use that good old knee like she did last week on Sol, but it didn't work. Sol Ruka, maneuvers out of it, then hits her Soul Snatcher from the corner ring post, and honestly getting the dub over Laney Reed. I said, man, you got something with this, Soul. No cap. No cap. Then we flash forward to this speed match right here. This is part of that tournament that we got going on. We had Ren Sinclair beating Thea Hale. And honestly, again, I've been behind Ren Sinclair. I thought even, what was it, a year and a half ago when they was doing, the entry matches and everything to get the North American title, I said, I think Ren Sinclair got something. She was one of my dark horses back then. And something about Ren now, I think they are now believing in her. And honestly, I'd be okay if she beat Fallon Haley for that speed championship. I think Ren Sinclair's got it. I like her on the mic. I think she's got some spunk to her, man. So we're going to see what happens with that. Then we flash forward to Tatum Paxley. And Izzy Day. First of all, Tatum catching Izzy from behind and start beating the hell out. Man, I ain't going to lie. They get it shaking outside that performance center. They really be throwing hands out there, and I ain't even mad about this. But of course, Robert Stone making it a match, a steel cage match between Izzy Dane and Tatum Paxley for that Women's North American Championship next week. Well, this week we see on Tuesday. So we're going to see what happens with that. And I think that's going to be a banger of a match. Then we flash forward, oh, man, to the main event. And I thought this was another good one right here. We had Ethan Page and Ricky Saints going up against Miles Bourne and my man, say his name, and he'll appear, Joe Hendry. But yeah, of course, you going up against Ethan Page and Pretty Ricky is what they call him. And honestly, them getting the dub over Joe and Miles Bourne. But what I loved about it was Ethan being a classic heel, doing classic heel work, throws the title into the ring. Then he does a little secret, little hidden tag to Ricky Saints. Ricky was about to hit his move, getting ready to hit a pin, and he said, no, I just tagged you in. Ricky's like, what you doing? What are you doing? He said, don't worry, I got this. Then it got to the point where the ref is trying to get Ricky out of the ring. The NXT title is still on into the ring, and Ethan hits his finisher on Joe Hendry on the title. And then with Ethan Page getting the pin over Joe Hendry, now it's seen and it's said that he has now pinned the NXT champion. So now, classic Ethan ego, man. I love this for him. Now it gives the conversation of him having an opportunity for the NXT title. And this is the finish, right here. Now, again, I thought NXT was a good show overall. Sean, you don't disappoint. You're getting us ready for Stand and Deliver. The storylines are all kind of getting there. But we talked about Vengeance Day on the review last weekend. I thought Vengeance Day was a banger. Love the story that they told, especially with Lola and my girl Lonnie, man. So I think this was a good show overall. This definitely kind of puts everybody in the mix. Honestly, again, my favorite part of the show was the crash out Keanu Carver putting Jasper Troy through that announce table, man. I thought that was crazy. I said, yeah, Keanu, that's why they call you the YN, boy. That's why you went crazy. So yeah, I loved it. I loved it. But yeah, but even with Ethan Page, man, I like what he's doing, and even Miles Bourne looking at him. Anthony Joe Henry hitting the yeah. I said, yeah, Ethan. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I love to see out of you. But I thought this was great. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Yeah, I thought NXT was a pretty good one this week. My favorite part of it was the Charlie Dempsey
Oh yeah.
turn to the Birthright. I just like the way it was executed. Just the fathers coming out and just kind of just reminded like all of us of the legacy that they are, and so it's like we knew it was going to happen. We knew it would happen eventually, and we finally got it. Now we have the Birthright. We have all of these legacy wrestlers, together. I think the group is great. I'm happy for Alexis King because I've been talking about Alexis King, being more featured in NXT and actually getting some W's because I felt like for a while he was on a bad run. And I actually like Lexus King. So I just, I'm glad to see this Birthright thing working right. I'm glad he's like the focal point of it. I'm glad Charlie Dempsey is down there in it. And I'm excited to see where this goes for a group of this caliber. The next good thing was seeing Keanu Carver come out and interfere and jump in and actually pick up and slam, Jasper Troy, which is insane. Just slammed him right through the table. Just like I said, two big dudes like going at it. Well, really, they weren't even going at it. It was like just all Keanu Carver. I thought that was great, and I just love how Booker sells his relationship with Keanu because Keanu's yelling at him and talking trash to Booker, and you're sitting there. Well, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this is a Hall of Famer. This is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And he's talking to him like he's a kid. And I know Booker's like, if I was only 20 years younger, young blood, if I was just 20 years younger, if these knees didn't have so much wear and tear, my back and all of that, I would love to give it a go. I give you a spinneroonie or two. But yeah, I love it though. I love the relationship there. Booker always has a look of he's in shock, awe, and fear of Keanu Carver.
Yeah.
And I love it. And then, of course, lastly, real quick, Ethan Page, just doing Ethan Page things. I absolutely love, what he does and how I love the interaction between him and Pretty Ricky. They are just great together. And seeing Ego just do some of the just dastardly things that he does. I don't know. I love Ego. I think he would have been great for the Vision if he was on the main roster, especially at this point in time. But great show, great way to end it. Good to see him get a pin. He's weaseled his way into being the #1 contender for the NXT title, and it just shows Ethan being Ethan, man. He doesn't care who he has to go step over or go through. He's going to try to have his way at all times. And so yeah, just great for Ethan Page. Absolutely. So great show. And then Tony D. when he said what he said about, it not being personal, just being business, and that's the old version of him, or that person's gone. My heart sank.
I know.
I love the family. I love the old version of Tony D. I hope at some point we get it back. But yeah, he definitely did cut a great promo.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. It's funny because when you said that there were people in the crowd, like the NXT crowd, and I said, I wonder who said that, Jay or Black Arrow. Somebody was like, where's Adriana? I said, come
Yeah.
on, bro.
Where is she, man? Yeah.
I said, where is she?
Yeah.
Adriana could be, going for the speed title right now or something. And just something, man. I don't know, man. I ain't gonna lie. It's like, even if Adriana comes back, is she still gonna have the Italian accent?
I know.
Probably not. Because Tony done lost his.
I know, he done lost his.
Man, been so out of touch. He said, nah, man, I ain't even that man no more. I said, damn, Tony. Sorry, Tony.
That was a good group. I don't know why they felt like they need to stop that. That was such a good group.
It was. Everybody had a purpose. Everybody did something. Just God, man. I just
start stop.
Start and stop. That was a long pause. That was a long start. And then we just that was like, we got what?
Yeah.
And then even how they broke up and all that, I said, come on, Sean. You low-key fumbled this one right here. But I ain't mad at you, Sean. Some things work, some things you just they tell you something. I guess sometimes you gotta do it, bro. I ain't like that, man. Sean Diva, you started watching NXT, so I hope so. So, but
I did, because y'all gave me homework. I did.
Right.
I did.
So what's your thoughts? What you think?
So with me actually sit down on a Tuesday night and watch, I was like, oh, this is more entertaining than WWE. And I said, y'all did not lie to me. So with me watching, I know
never.
We would
never. So I know, certain wrestlers. I know as soon as I start watching and get more immersed, but I was thoroughly entertained. I was like, oh, I was entertained from start to finish. And then when it got to the end, I was like, oh, that's it. Dang. So y'all might just convert me over to just being an NXT girly. But I enjoyed, like, from top to bottom, I really, really enjoyed it. And I like their storylines. Their storylines make sense. Make sense. And it flows. You have to have some type of flow. But I'm sure hopefully next month by this time, I will be able to tell you this, and like I said, I know bits and pieces, but overall, I enjoyed it. And then I watched, what is it, Vengeance on last Saturday?
Vengeance Day.
Vengeance Day. Yep. I was thoroughly I enjoyed it. It. Like, okay, again, that's it. That's all. Okay, got to wait. So that's my take.
Well, I'm happy to hear it. Yeah, I'm happy to hear it. Yeah, NXT is good. They generally have a great show like each week. And I know this show wasn't really up to the normal level of NXT that we get, but it was still good. NXT. I don't know. Like I said, I can't quite put my finger on why it's so much more successful to me on a week-to-week basis of television programming when it comes to wrestling, especially when you think about the main roster and the amount of assets they have and funds that they have to be able to put on good shows and story. So you're talking about a small budget NXT, and they nail it week after week. And it's just, they only got a few little stages that they can work with, outside in front of the garage door or or inside and coming through the NXT wall. I mean, it's just, but they make it work, man. They just, they do. And the crowd is just always there. The crowd is always there for them.
And I think that is what I love. Like, they're hollering and they're screaming. I'm like, I say, y'all know this is a smaller arena. Y'all, all this hollering and stuff you doing, but it feeds into it. So, like I said, for me, I would like to be immersed into that, like real time, like being there in an NXT live event, just to see what it's about, because it was fun to me. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank y'all giving me more homework. Yeah, everybody keeps adding me homework on, and I'm like, feel like I watch wrestling 24/7, but it's good.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I'm
That's what it's
excited.
all
So
about.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's hey, and shout out to J Movie Mania. By the way, happy belated birthday to your brother. I ain't know his birthday was the day after mine.
Oh,
But
nice. Happy belated birthday, Jay.
yeah,
Happy
man.
All these
belated
March babies
birthday.
around here.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, we going crazy. But we've had him on the show plenty of times before. Being one of those major staples in that crowd, starting like he's one of those guys that one of the founders of the Oba chants. Definitely was one of the founders of the Whoop That Trick. One of the founders of the Whoop for 75 Kids. So they play a huge part of really helping get those wrestlers over, especially when they get to that main roster. So shout out to J Movie Mania, Black Arrow, that whole crew. Hey, matter of fact, shout out to the Wrestling Syndicate, the Wrestling Syndicate
Yep.
podcast, doing their
Hey, check it
thing.
out. Yep.
Yeah, man. Make sure y'all check them out. They've been having some great interviews. They had an interview
Interviews.
with
Yeah.
Devon, Tyra May Steele.
Tyra
They
May
had one
Steele.
what with my man Eddie Thorpe. They had a lot, they've been having a lot of great people on their show. So y'all make sure y'all check those guys out for sure. But yeah, man, I agree. NXT was definitely a good show, but yeah, definitely Sean D. When you keep watching, it's gonna get even better. And I recommend anybody if you want to see a really good, since you've seen Vengeance Day, you get a chance. Check out the triple threat match with Oba Femi, Trick,
Oh, Rick
Willie
Williams and
Wonka,
Javon Evans.
and Javon Evans. And honestly, that when we did our some of our favorite matches of the year, it was hard. Like that was one of my biggest ones I considered. But they put on an absolute classic. And that match is the reason why they're on the main roster now, because of how good that was. And again, that was three black men main eventing, stand and deliver. So definitely says a lot to what Sean's doing and how he sees the wrestlers. And I love that about Sean, man. I really do. I think he's doing an amazing job down there at NXT. So we
Well,
proud
I
of you,
get
Chef Sean.
y'all gave me homework, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
make sure I watch the homework. Be prepared for questions though on the back
Yeah.
end. Be prepared
Oh,
It's
for the
we
fine.
got
questions.
you.
Hey,
We
we're here
got
for
you.
it.
We got you. Oh man. But we talked about a lot of the great things that happened with Chef Sean and NXT. Now it's time to talk about the best part of the end of the week, Friday Night SmackDown. Oh man. SmackDown. I ain't gonna lie. SmackDown. Look, I'm gonna really be honest with y'all, man. I ain't gonna lie. We went 45 minutes into the show with no matches, by the way, starting off. Okay, that was low key almost a problem for me. I said, damn, 45 minutes in, we ain't seen no wrestling yet. It was all talking. But I'm not gonna cap. I like how it started. Okay. Of course they did the normal intro and all that. Nick Aldis was backstage, getting the contract ready for Randy and Cody. But what I loved about this the most, and man, this man didn't tell a damn lie. They kicked this one off with Drew McIntyre. Okay. Before he even started talking to the man with the magic boot, Drew McIntyre came out and he said, "This is BS." He was calling out Nick Aldis. He said, "You want to sit here and make sure that your corporate champion, Cody Rhodes,
I think I think we done lost E.
Yeah, I
We
think
done
so
lost
too.
the show.
Because I'm sitting up here
Well,
like, okay, wait, what?
well, I
We
guess I'll pick it up for him until he
okay,
gets back. So
okay.
We got Drew and Jacob Fatu in the ring. So Drew starts off the show. He comes out. He's angry. He's upset, of course, because of the fact that they gave Cody Rhodes another opportunity to win the championship, and Cody actually wins the championship. And so now Drew is upset with Nick Aldis and feels like it was a setup from the very beginning, and that they did what they did to favor, the quarterback, QB1, Cody Rhodes. So he comes out, he's upset. He confronts Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis is trying to calm Drew down and get him to understand that Drew, the entire time, has screwed Cody in every single opportunity he had to become a contender for the championship. And that when he finally got his fair chance, his fair opportunity to face Cody one-on-one, Drew lost. And of course, Drew feels a certain type of way about this. And so he and Nick Aldis come face to face. And that is when we get the Samoan werewolf himself coming out and setting the record straight. He goes straight to the ring. He gets straight in Drew's face and he tells him, yada I mean. I'm the one that caused you to. I'm the one, or the reason why you won the championship in the first place. I'm the one is the reason why you lost the championship to Cody Rhodes. So you can go around and blame all these other people, Nick Aldis. You can blame Cody. You can blame the fans. You can blame whoever you want. But the person that you need to blame is me, the Samoan werewolf. And I'm standing right here, right now, in front of your face. What are you going to do about it? And in a weird turn of events to me was the fact that instead of Drew actually taking his anger out on the Samoan werewolf, he actually picks up the mic and says, you know what? I quit. He tells Nick Aldis that he quits the WWE, walks out of the ring, walks out through the crowd, says F this place, gives them the old arm chop sign, and he walks on out of the ring. And at that point in time, we don't know what's going to happen with Drew. What does this mean? Is he really leaving the WWE? Is he really done with the WWE? And my big question on it all was, why didn't Jacob get his in on Drew right then and there? Because he's been looking for Drew for weeks, but we'll worry about that at a later time. Then we flash forward to something that the diva herself says needs to end, and I agree. We have the MFTs versus the Wyatt Six. And before this happens, before this match takes place, we get a promo backstage where Solo is talking to the MFTs, and he's telling them about the importance of the lantern and why it needs to be kept safe or kept away from Uncle Howdy. And of course, the lantern plays a role in the match because the MFTs and the Wyatt Six go at it on the outside of the ring. And at some point in time, we see that the Wyatt Six recover the lantern, which all of a sudden kind of resurrects Uncle Howdy. He delivers the finisher to Solo, or tries to deliver the finisher to Solo, but it's interrupted. And so we get this match where the MFTs actually win and take back the lantern again. They have the lantern back again, which is just, I don't know what it is. I don't know why they just cannot, get this straight with the lantern, just be done with it. Why Solo is stuck in this senseless feud at this point with the MFTs. But for whatever reason, this will carry on because of the fact that the MFTs now have the lantern back, which leads to the next segment, which is again between none other than the quarterback QB1 himself and now champion and Sami Zayn, which at this point in time, I don't know where this is going. I don't know what Sami is actually after here. I just wish he would say he wants to face Cody for the championship or have a match with him, even though I know it's too early. There's no way Cody's losing this belt before WrestleMania, and especially not after what we saw last night. But Sami Zayn coming in, cutting a promo with Cody Rhodes, backstage, and just I don't know. It's just an awkward thing between them because he says he looked up to Randy, but he sees him and Cody as being friends and see them as being eye to eye with each other. And to me, it's just a weird. I don't know what Sami Zayn is going for here. It's like, well, look, if you're trying to be champion, you just got the message last week from a 14-time champion himself, Randy Orton, and he gave you the best advice he could give you. Sometimes, Sami, you just have to listen to the voices. And I don't know when that's going to click for him, but of course, again, as always, for the last few weeks, Sammy turns around after Cody and him have an exchange of words. There's bottles of water just laying on the table for him to knock over. This is like the third or fourth straight week in a row. He's taking his anger out on some bottles of water. I say, look, we got to do something better here with Sami Zayn. We either need to crap or get off the pot. And so that leads in to the next thing. And I believe the Knight himself is back where he can pick up between Jade and Rhea Ripley after Jade actually had a match on SmackDown defending her championship against Michin.
Yeah, man, and I thought this was crazy. I thought this was crazy right here because Jade, and I ain't even gonna lie, Jade actually had a pretty decent match between her and Michin. But what I loved about it, Jade cut the promo. She was talking her stuff. And then the best thing about it, she said she's gonna beat that ass at WrestleMania because she's gonna be on top. Crazy thing is, Rhea comes out, cuts a promo. She said, "You got all this talk, you say all this, that, and the first one when Rhea got into the ring, okay, Jade immediately comes out of the ring, rolls out. I said, all right, I get it. Classic heel work. You got to do this, right? And then Rhea explains and says, you got all this talk, when everybody's in the back, you got all this talk when I'm not here. But then, of course, when I'm here, you run away. She said, just know at WrestleMania, I'm going to be champion and I'm going to make you my, come on, y'all know the rest of that. I ain't even got to say it. I said, all right, Rhea, that's enough. That's enough. Then we flash forward. Man, I ain't even gonna lie. I was low key scared about this match off rip. Okay, we had the irresistible forces. You already know what it is. Nia Jax and the big Lash herself, Lash Legend. Okay, going up against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. All right, and now again in the midst after Charlotte and Alexa came out, unfortunately, the Bella Twin, and I mean this with the bottom of my heart when I say, unfortunately, the Bellas came out and they said, look, we're going to be out here. You know why we're here. We want those champions, so it doesn't matter. We're going to have our spot. I said, who wrote this? Who wanted the Bellas back? I get it. Y'all in the hometown of Phoenix, but this one pissed me off. I said, come on now. And of course, you had Brie and Nikki Bella interrupting the match. I said, man, come on. We don't need no more nostalgia. Why are we getting the Bellas? Is this 2010? Is this '09? The only '09 I want is Orton. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. I said, come on. This is ridiculous right here. I was like, man, come on now. But this was actually a decent match that was going on here. Okay. And then again, I thought what was crazy about it, you're trying to bring in the Bellas into this whole situation. And I'm like, man, why are we doing this? Why? We don't need them when we got plenty of women in the back. But again, we'll see what happens with that. Then we flash forward to The Miz and Danhausen. Now, I thought this was interesting. Danhausen saying, look, I got a shirt. It's almost the #1 selling t-shirt. Miz says, how do you even get that? No W superstar gets that on their first week. He said, I did. And then he asked him, he said, look, I want to have a show. He said, I want to do all this, that, and the third. And then Miz says, look, I'm not going to help you. He said, okay, well, remember what I told you last week? And since you don't want to help, you are cursed. Oh, man. And then that leads us. And we go flash forward to Miz TV. And I thought this was good. This was actually pretty funny. I thought this made me laugh. Jelly Roll. And I don't know why they're saying Jelly Roll's a huge superstar. I mean, he's somewhat of a star, I guess. I don't. But I get it. He had a match at SummerSlam, so you got to make him look like he's that guy, right? So then again, The Miz is coming out here. He's talking to Jelly Roll. The Miz tells Jelly Roll, you think you did all this, that, and the third. I remember helping your old beast self. I said, yo, chill out. Chill out, Miz. I get the man was heavy, but I didn't know we was taking it that far. He said, you could even pick yourself up. I said, way to quote the Unreal situation where Jelly Roll said that. I said, I like the layers that we're trying to put out here. Then, okay, Jelly Roll says, "Look, you think you're gonna take credit? You're being narcissistic, taking credit for me losing 250 pounds." He said, "I did that. I'm the one that got up and started running miles a day." I said, "All right, I get that." But then Kid Wilson comes out, and I thought this was hilarious. Okay, talking about Jelly Roll. Okay, talking about how you wanted to lose all that weight. He said, "You know what you are?" He said, "You know what you have? You are a fat phobia." I said, "Kid, you're crazy for this one, bruh." Then, of course, leading on to tell him and to tell Jelly Roll, not only that, but you are toxic. I said, "Bro, you are crazy for this one." But of course, you know how it is. They set that up. Then all of a sudden, all right, Kid pushes Jelly Roll. Miz is trying to hold Kid Wilson back, and Jelly Roll punches the Miz. I said, "Well, damn." I said, "I guess that curse was real, huh?" Guess the curse was real. And the funny thing, even about that, when Miz started Miz TV, the mic first went out, and he had to get a whole new mic. I said, "Yo, this is crazy right here." But this was good. This was good. Then we flash forward. Man, man. We had good old Tiffy time. Okay. And I said, what is this even about? What is this even about at this point? We had Tiffy time, okay, beating Kiana James. Now, Tiffy time tried to, she said a whole little cut of a promo and everything. Chelsea Green was trying to interrupt her. I thought it was funny when she took Chelsea Green's wheelchair and just wheeled it on and kept going, and Chelsea just started screaming. I said, "Yo, this is hilarious right here." I thought that was funny. But then, of course, it led to Tiffany Stratton beating Kiana James, and honestly, I guess we're gonna have Tiffy Tom trying to go for the U.S. Women's title. All right, I guess. I mean, the first main card title, y'all fumble with that. So I'm hoping maybe with this mid card, this does help build some of the other stars, including somebody like a Kiana James. But y'all see how they done did that. And then we flash forward, and I thought this was a hell of a match. Okay, look, we have my man Hollywood Trick, Two Brand Trick, First Class Trick,
Oh
Trick and
no,
Nate,
stop
Trick
him.
Willie
Out
going
of
up
control.
against the man with the magic boot, Jacob 5-2. Now, in the midst of this, you see who it is, the man that plays, Drew McIntyre. Okay, coming in. Of course, we thought he quit. He ain't quit. Come on, man. We know you got that 7-year contract. Stop playing. All right. So, what I loved about this, though, Drew getting the attack on Jacob, throwing Jacob into the ring post, and then Trick hitting the trick shot and getting the dub over Jacob 5-2. But to the point to where Drew McIntyre was standing over Jacob. And I said, Now, this was smart and this was good because at the same time, this keeps Jacob looking strong because, again, you had Drew interfere, and this still makes Trick look good because now the man still won the match. You beat Jacob 5-2. I said, well, damn, I was torn. I was torn because these two of my favorite guys right here on SmackDown. But I get it. I get it. Then we flash forward to the end of the show. The contract signing. Cody, telling Randy, look, I love you, man. I said, all right, bro. I said, this is how you already pissing me off, Cody, with this BS right here. Say, yeah, I love you, man. We can do something with this. I think this is gonna be a great match. Let's do our thing out here. I said, shut up, Cody. Shut up. Shut up, please. You want to be all friends and all this, man. And when I tell you, I love to see this. Randy Orton getting the low blow, hitting Cody. The voices, Randy was hearing the voices. Oh, nine, Orton is back. You seen the look on his face. He was beating the hell out of Cody. Took the steel steps, banged Cody in the head with it. Took another steel step, banged it again with Cody. I said, man, what's going on with it? Then it was just a full-on assault. Took the steel chair. Okay, and I love this. I love how this looks right here. This was a great shot right here. Takes the steel chair and then it smacks the steel chair with Cody's head into the steel. I said, yeah, or I said, yeah, Randy, That's what I'm talking about. That's the Viper that I know. And I said, man, all you had to do was hit him with a punk kick, and I would love it. But I'm sure it's coming. And then, man, they had this man Cody looking great. Look, this man Cody even got no shoes on. Look at the socks and shoes is off. I said, man, this is crazy. I said, this is how you beat some ass, Randy. That's what I'm talking about. But then it came to the point where Randy holding that title. And I love this right here. And this is the finish right here. Yeah. Yeah, Randy. Yes. Yes. At first I was pissed. Y'all know I was pissed off with Drew losing the title last week. I ain't gonna cap. I was pissed. I said, I hate Cody for this. I can't stand this man for this. But I love this. I love this. And this is what we had to get. I'm all for it with this. I said, man, let's do it. Let's do it. Because honestly, seeing Randy and he was making those same feet. I said, man, this is '09 Orton back. This is what we've been wanting. Now, again, Randy was kind of teasing doing that again last year with the whole thing with him and Kevin Owens. Of course, with Kevin Owens getting injured, they kind of had to pull that back. But this was great. I said, if this is what unleashes Randy, stories there. Stories here. This literally writes itself. I love this though. I did. Few things I got to talk about real quick. Um, Again, Kit Wilson, you got it, bro. That is this man is beyond, literally beyond over with this whole toxic masculinity, everything he be saying. And I like his character, bro. It's like he's on that kind of that Gen Z wave. Granted, I'm a millennial, so I can say this, but he's on the Gen Z wave too. He's kind of where some of the Gen Z people, they'll call out people that have phobias. If you got a certain phobia about things that are not okay in the world of society, they'll call you out for it. That's kind of the vibe I get off of Kit Wilson. He'll call you a phobic or whatever. You're a fat phobic. I said, yo, this is crazy with Kit. So I think I love this. It's like, it's not too controversial, but I think it's one of those. And Wade Barrett said, when Kit Wilson came out, he said, yes, boy. He said, oh, wait, no, I can't say that. He said, yes, they and them. I said, bro, what?
He did.
I said, he really said that?
Yeah.
He said, yes, they. I said, yo, that's hilarious. So again, I like that whole thing with Kit. That's hilarious. I like what they doing with that. It's kind of changing the dynamic for him, and I love everything about that. One thing I guess they didn't really care to put on the highlights, and I definitely understand, was Damian Priest, okay, and R-Truth in the tag team match against Los Garza. I get it. I mean, if you don't want to really highlight that, you can say that all you want. Granted, it was a match, but I ain't gonna lie, bro. I don't know. This is a tag team we literally just threw together last week. You had them win the qualifier thing for the tag team titles. And now that's just kind of it. And I get it. They having fun. They trying to do their things to the point Damian Priest hitting this choke slam and R-Truth hitting the attitude adjustment at the same time. All right, I get it. We saying something about it, but I mean, it is what it is on that. So I ain't too mad about it. But yeah, I mean, overall, yeah, and I also agree with you, Sean Diva. I'm so sick of this damn lantern situation. Honest to God. I thought this thing was done with. Even went to the place, like every time when somebody get the lantern, I'm like, all right, bet. When Nikki Cross had it, I said, well, this is over with. It's done. Thank you. No, Tama Tonga just come. I'm like, come on. There is more to life than this damn lantern. Please, just drop the lantern. Let's just leave it alone. Y'all are past it. Y'all are tag team champions. Why do y'all give a damn? Why do y'all give a damn about this whole thing? I couldn't stand it. I can't stand it. But it's okay. Hopefully, I'm guessing towards Mania, Uncle Howdy will officially probably have his lantern back and that whole thing. My thing is, though, dude, your Uncle Howdy, you got the Wyatt Six. Why is it every time it's just you out there by yourself and you sitting there just losing the lantern? You got Eric Rowan. You got Joe Gacy. You got Dexter Loomis. Hell, Nikki Cross is out there. What are you doing? Just get the lantern and just call it a damn day, man. I'm sick of this. But again, that was something else. But yeah, Drew, Hey, I gotta give it to Drew for real. Drew didn't tell not one lie on that promo when he was talking to Nick. When he said, "Look, you a corporate man." He called him a corporate stooge. I said, Drew, I love Nick Aldis. Again, that's the man that's strictly business. I had the 10 pounds of gold. And he said, "Look, you know where I came from. Well, if that's the case, then why are you doing this? Why you doing all this for Cody?" I said, I mean, again, we know the history with Nick Aldis and Cody back in the indie scene, them, fighting for the title, the NWA title. But I said, nah, Nick, Drew's low key right about this. You can't keep doing this to him, man. And honestly, I was like, yo, and I'll say this too. That Phoenix crowd, they chanted and they cheered for Drew for everything he said up in there. And I thought to myself, it's a good damn thing they didn't have that match in Phoenix last week because I guaranteed those people would have booed Cody. These are the same people that cheered for Orton when he was doing when Orton turned into '09 Orton. They seen it in real time. These people cheered for that. Again, that's why I was like, man, like I wish they was in Phoenix last week. Because I think they would have definitely felt some type of way about the reaction. So yeah. But yeah, again, Randy, you did your thing. And Jade, I ain't gonna lie, you're sus. You're very sus. Okay? Because last thing I gotta talk about this, and then I'm gonna let you go, HB Prince. Last thing. Jade, you're sus, but I'm gonna say the reason why you're sus. Okay.
Not the leg.
Yeah, that was wild, by the way. And I feel like Meechin said, "Go ahead and do." Then you seen she smacked her on the. I
On
said,
the butt.
what? Yeah, I
Smacked
said,
her on
"All
the
right,
bum.
Jay."
Did y'all see
Yeah,
the face lick? Did y'all see the
Yeah,
face
yeah,
lick?
the face
she
lick.
licked her and all.
And
I
then the
said,
smack
"All
on the
right."
I
bum.
was like,
Yeah,
ooh.
yeah. Meechin be she. I ain't gonna say Meechin be into some kind of stuff like that because she was my man Keith Lee, the glorious one. But yeah, I mean the stuff she used to be saying about Jada
Limitless.
Parker. I said, yeah, she probably been okay with this anyway. But but I mean even the whole thing with first of all with Meechin and BFAB backstage, and Rhea kind of walked back there and was like, "Hey, you okay?" And Meechin said, "Look, I don't want your pity party. You get up out my face with that." BFAB was like, "Look, all right, look, there's a lot going on. We're good." But then even when they showed the segment with Johnny Gargano, you seen Jade in the background talking to BFAB, and I said, "Hmm." Now again, they've been saying and they've been teasing and saying stuff about Meechin and BFAB being the baddies for Jade. Now again, I would have been okay with that if you didn't have Jade turn on them when she got the damn title. And that's what I was like. Well, this makes no sense. So we just gonna have Jade go ahead and have this rival with the two women she was cool with for all this time. They was in the back doing all this backstage, all this, that, and the third. And then when she get the title, then she turned on them for no reason. When they was with you, they was already supporting you when you won the damn title. And you turned your back. Now all of a sudden, now BFAB trying to talk and do all this after she just had this match. What are we doing that for? What do we do? There was no point in doing that. You could have already had the baddies there. You could have had them doing this. You could have had Meechin already with the kendo stick. Go ahead, doing just hitting people and doing all that. I think they would have liked that. We would have loved to see a heel version of Meechin. And you could have had BFAB talking and saying all this. It was already there. But like classic, like what y'all always do, you start and stopped it for no reason. Now you want to go ahead and go back to doing it again. This is dumb. This is dumb. I mean, again, I'm all for the faction. Jade having her badges again. This is going back to what she was doing in AEW when she had Kara Hogan and Red Velvet, which I love that. Shout out to my girl Kara Hogan. I met her back in 2018. But again, you could have already had this. I don't know who said, yeah, let's break this up. I mean, I get it, she the champ, but you could have still had this and made her title reign mean even more. She's already a heel. So why not go ahead and give her a little faction? This is just classic wrestling 101. I don't see why we just went back on that. That made no sense to me. But hey, again, like I always say, I'm not the man with the pen, and I for damn sure ain't the man in the writer's room. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Well, first I want to say appreciate you joining us, Darkwing.
Hey,
and,
what's up, Darkwing?
Yep. But yeah, I do feel him on the crowds. For it to be Nikki and Nikki Bella and or the Bella twins hometown, I thought the crowd did not they didn't really cheer as loud as you would have thought for the Bellas to be there. Just my quick thoughts overall. SmackDown was more so on the line of Raw for me. It was just okay. But I want to say a couple things that they got that I think they've been doing pretty decent at, and that is with Danhausen for his entrance into the WWE to go as poorly, to be as poorly received as it was. These last few weeks has been pretty cool. The way they've been kind of using him, and then seeing the effects of his interactions with people take place real time. From Dom losing the Intercontinental Championship to Miz, Mike going out, then being punched in the face, things of that nature. So I think the way they've been using him has been pretty good. I'm more interested to see like how things play out when he starts to have his first match or starts wrestling, on a weekly basis or whatever, to see how like this whole thing is going to come together. So they do have me intrigued there. But the best part of the show, just to cut right to it, was the very end, with the way things went down between Randy and between Cody. And to give Triple H some credit from the week before, where he said, he's the Viper, and he can do anything, and you won't see it coming. This is one of those times right here where you didn't see it coming. Like, you knew like he had voices in his head, about the voices in his head, and that Randy has the ability to flip that switch like this, like that, or whatever. But you like, well, we got weeks, so something's got to happen or transpire within the next few weeks. So no, it transpired right here, right now, tonight, and things were going so well. Cody was glazing him so well. Randy, I'm gonna take this off your head. When it comes into WrestleMania, I understand you want this title. They said if they would have built a wrestler, it would look just like you. All of that stuff that he was doing to glaze
super
Randy.
glazing.
And Randy was like, yeah. Thank you, Cody. I'm gonna sign this contract. And as soon as he put his giant Hancock on there, boot to the crotch, beat down. Like I'm like, okay, so. At what point was he hearing the voices? Did the voice come as he was signing his contract? Or did it happen right after he put the pen down? Because I was trying to figure out how my man went from smiling, very like thank you, Cody, I appreciate you. I appreciate you adoring me and respecting me, to I'm getting ready to wreck your life. And that's what I feel like. That's what I feel like it should be for somebody like Randy, who's trying to get his 15th title, who is trying to make, even more history, and not only have a couple people above him, a Ric Flair and a John Cena, if he ever gets to a never seen 17 type of status. But when you're talking about going for the WWE Undisputed Championship, there are no friends at this point in time. And that's what I loved about this segment right here, how Randy flipped the switch. He didn't make us wait week after week of them kind of glazing each other about, hey, I remember we were riding up and down the roads and things didn't go out, didn't go as we planned, and this and I ended up becoming a bigger star and you had to leave and come back. Like, given that whole, it's just no, it's on site and it's time to destroy Cody, and he did that and did it well. And then even Cody, just the showmanship of it all, with the blood trickling down his ear and the way he turned perfectly for the camera to see the blood going down his face. I said, this is great stuff. But, Randy Orton did it, man. And then ripping the clothes off of Cody, the way he did that, just, and I love the way it ended and the way it was shot, the cinematography of him sitting there, bloody, title around his waist, blood on his shirt, blood on his hands and his fist. And he's sitting there with the title. And it's like, this is the weight. This is what it takes. It's like Batman trying to save Gotham. The things he's had to do to get to this point. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. I just thought it was a great way and a great way to end the show. And I thought it was perfect because it was like, this is the wrestler they said that if they built a wrestler from the ground up, he would look like him. And then this is the weight of that wrestler, going for something that he values and that he knows is the most prestigious thing out there. And this is what he's willing to do to accomplish that goal. He's willing to get himself bloodied up, and he did it. And he didn't care if it was his best friend or one of his closest friends in the business. He was going to give him the business.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I loved every single second of that, man. He
Same.
Randy, you did your thing, man. You did your thing. Sean Diva, what's your thoughts, girl? What you think?
SmackDown did not. I'm with you. Like when it first started, I was sitting here like, Lord have mercy, why y'all keeps all this talking and all this stuff? But it had my attention. It had my attention with everything. Um, One thing the lantern. I'm gonna talk about the lantern. Give it back. Or if you're gonna keep them stealing things, again, like I said, build off of it. You could build off of, okay, the Usos, Jay and them told CM Punk to apologize. Have them take something. Have them take. I say again, Larry's ashes. Let something to Larry's. Do something. Defame it. Anything. Yeah. Oh, to build off of that. Cause what are we doing? What are we doing? And then you have the lantern like, oh, I got it. I got it. We got it. And then to take it. What are y'all doing? Like all it's more y'all. So y'all didn't want to fight for it. What? Jesus wept. Jesus wept. But
Amen. He did.
but my highlight was the end. That was the end. And I'm gonna tell you, Prince, where it came, where them voices started
came in.
Talking. Them voices started for someone that has 28 and a half voices in them all the time. Well, the half is the perimenopause one, and I'm trying to keep that one at bay. Them voices was talking to Randy when he came out. He already know. As somebody that is a little touch, as they say, them voices be talking to you, and you like, okay, I'm gonna smile and I'm gonna go along with this or whatever else. So you never expect, and we didn't expect him just to. I wasn't expecting him to crash out
either.
But when he crashed out, baby, I was sitting up there like, yes, go, get it. And then the thing of it is, I love heel turns. I love the heel. You don't like it, but I like it. I liked it. The thing that tickled me the most when Randy basically was beating up on Cody, when that shoe came off, I was in stitches. I was like, he don't have no shoe. I said, oh my God. And I'm getting tickled thinking about it. I just see his little foot dangling.
Yep. Beat the man out of his shoes, man. It was bad. He beat the man out of his shoes.
And I was just sitting there like, oh my God, he's done it. And then the rip and everything else. And you think he's done. He's still stacking him in the stairs. And I'm just like, what can you do now? What is it?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? And like you said, the cinematography in the end where he's got blood on his shirt, he picks up the belt and he's sitting there like, yeah, we're here. We have, all of us have arrived and get ready for the ride. So that was my joy. Now, going back to these Bellas, why? What? Because I was sitting there with me and my husband.
Nature,
I'm like,
that's why.
Why? Nobody who wants them? Who asked for them? I get it. We like our old wrestlers. And again, from somebody that's new, I get it. But it was no need. You should have just let the irresistible forces fight with Charlotte and Alexa. That's it. You could have just left it at that. Yeah, so y'all gonna bring them back to do what exactly? I don't want to see that. Yawn. And and Tiffy Time and Kiana. Again, what was the point? What? Why? Well, okay. All right. And that's it. That's all.
They gotta let Kiana run, man. Kiana,
yes.
She's they gotta let her run.
They do. It's like why showcase her in Elimination Chamber? Why let her talk when you know she can kind of do a little bit of everything of that? And they're just like, oh, well, let's just have her be a manager for Julia. I love Julia, but it's like I feel like Kiana James can do a lot of stuff on her own. And it's like we gonna still just have her as a manager, but then you gonna put her in matches and just have her keep losing. Like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of
Tired.
it.
I'm tired. Yeah, because I'm
God.
just like,
And
what are you gonna do with her? Because again, for me as a new fan, when she really started, they started separating her out. When she was in an elimination chamber, it clicked for me. I'm like, okay, I see you. What is it else that you're going to do? Give me more of her. Give me more of her. Give her more to put her up, to prep her up. She don't need to be with Julia no more. Put her a standalone. Let her be standalone because she could do it. I feel like she could have the belt. Give it to her because it clicked. But again, WWE do like what they want to do. They don't listen to us.
Damn, even though they say they be listening.
Mm-mm.
One
no,
thing, I meant to mention, Hollywood Trick. Hey, that promo he cut about Jacob Fatu. He said, "I'm gonna beat the boogeyman out your." I said, "Yo," and they did the shake. I said, "Trick, you." I said, "Man, this is why I love you, man." He killed that one, man. But yeah, I agree. I think they need to do something with Kiana James. It's damn near criminal. I think she has so much potential. And then again, this is a woman that was kind of killing it on NXT as well. So yeah, like let's do something with Kiana James. Let's kind of push her more. I feel like at this point, Julie can turn on Kiana James, hell, or vice versa, and Kiana could still stand on her own and do something else. I feel like Kiana James could be a U.S. Women's champion. You know what I'm saying? I feel
It
like
could
she could be a
happen.
great fit. I
It
mean,
could
we got
happen.
all
She
these
showed
women.
us. Yeah, she
Yeah.
showed us. She showed us in elimination chamber because I said, "Oh, girl." I said, "Okay, sis, I see you. We right here." Everybody that watches wrestling, you have those moments with wrestlers where you like, this person, it's this person or whatever. But you have that one signature moment that you lock in with that, and you be like, "Okay, I like you now. I can get with you. I can cheer for you. I can get behind you." Don't stop that momentum. And I think that's what WWE suffers from. You stop the momentum of us creating it for it to be bigger, badder, and just phenomenal.
yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah. You hit it
My
right on the
last
head, Tom
takeaway
Beaver.
too, really quick, was just the crowd doing the turn of Randy when Randy snapped. Just like
Mhm.
most of the people being like in shock of what was happening because Cody was busted open and bleeding and everything, and of course nobody saw it. So by the time he was done, I could just see like the evil devilish grins of everybody in
Yeah.
LA. They were cheering for
Like,
Randy.
yes. Yes.
Once he
Yeah.
came back with the chair and did the
Sat
chair to the
down.
steps up on his head, and everybody, I think the crowd like changed. And then he put the chair in the ring. And he opened it, was all dented up, and he sat down. And I said, "Oh man, the crowd, they went nuts at that point in time." I was like, "Oh, they get it now." One of them voices took over his body, and it was done.
Yeah, boy. They all knew that moment. They said,
Yeah,
"He's back.
yeah,
He's back.
yeah,
The old now Norton is back." That's what we wanted.
yeah.
This is great though. I love that. I really did love that. That was probably one of my favorite moments of the night, was just really seeing Randy. And then again, just the face expression, everything he was doing, it was like, oh yeah, you really channeled back to it.
I mean,
Like,
he
and
shoved
it
Jelly
makes
Roll to the
sense.
ground.
Yeah, like, and it made sense because it was like, he back to the bald buzz cut he's doing. I said, you're doing small things, man. Doing small things. Oh, last thing. Sami Zayn. Yeah, you know, cap, man. This whole thing with him walking up on everybody saying this stuff
It's got to
and then
stop.
doing the crash out.
But
Yeah.
y'all don't think that they're prepping Sammy. Sammy's gonna turn heel. That's why.
Mhm.
That's the build. That's what they're building him up to. He's gonna turn. That's why. And this is just Shauna. This is just Shauna, or I can say me and hubby. He was the one that was attacking everybody backstage. You got to think about it. Let's think
I would
about
like
it.
I would love that to be the case.
Let that be the
Yeah.
case because when you think about it, when Jay got attacked, everybody that if you love and you care about somebody, guess what? Where you gonna be? You're gonna be right there. When you look in the crowd, who do you not see? Sammy. And that's supposed and Jay is supposed to be your boy. Like, if you my boy, you my people, I'm gonna pull up. Like, what? And I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. He was nowhere to be found. So I feel like they're slow building, but him knocking over the water bottles, I'm over that. Do something else different, please. Please. I can.
I'm like, who is drinking all these bottles of water and leaving them behind?
It's always like 4 to 5, like
Yeah.
half over. I said, man, somebody either pouring them out or somebody just saying, yeah, you know what, I'm done. And then open up another. I'm gonna tell you this. I hate when people do that. Don't you open up another damn bottle of water?
Bottle of water till you finish the first one.
I can't stand that.
Yeah.
Get
Hey,
slapped.
yes. My mom and dad didn't play that mess.
Yeah.
You
I
open that
hate
bottle
that.
of water, you better finish it.
Yeah.
Ain't no getting no
said,
second
man,
bottle of
what
water.
is Yeah, you better finish that. Come on
Better
now.
finish that
Right.
one, yeah.
It's stale. If you done been sitting there for 2 or 3 days, you gonna
Yeah,
finish
they don't
it.
care. You
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
finish it.
Finish
You
it.
finish what you start.
Right. Absolutely.
It's like, it's crazy though, because we always talk about how the table flips, because it's like, when Trick was doing that in NXT, it was half cups of water. He get my
Yeah.
title, want my
All right,
title,
give my title.
take the title. Now with Sammy, it's just half open bottles of water. We just throwing the table. I said, all right, whatever. All right, I get it. I get it. Y'all don't want to mess nothing up. Oh man. But we talked about some of the great things with Friday Night Smackdown. Now it is time to go back and talk about who truly knows their wrestling.
I don't.
All right. All right, y'all. Now look, we talked about this earlier. All right. Now the Miz says he's a all-time, the only, two-time Grand Slam champion, but he isn't the only one. So for the people that's in the comments, who are the other 2 Grand Slam champions? HP Prince, you got an answer?
Yeah, you got me stumped. Only person I can think of is Seth, and I don't know if it's maybe Randy or KO. I don't know. I'm guessing Seth and Kevin Owens.
Okay.
He got HB. He's an HBK. Is it? I'm trying to think.
So
did they have? Yeah, they had the U.S. title. Oh, yeah, I don't know. It could be it.
So remember, because it's a 2-time Grand Slam.
It's 2. I know it's 2-time. That's my thing. Oh man. And
hey, shout out to Statman for giving this question. I thought this was a great one right here. All right, y'all. I see a few people was in the comments. We seen okay, Ashley said Rollins. She said Rollins a little bit earlier. BJ said Seth as well. All right. So I'm gonna give the answer. The answer is Seth Rollins and Charlotte
Flair.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't
Yeah.
thinking about that.
I would.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even think about Charlotte Flair. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of how many people won the main title twice at least, and I was thinking KO has dabbled with the Intercontinental Championship a couple of times and the tag team belts, but I couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So which one hasn't he won? A second was it Intercontinental?
Who you talking about?
Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens won the IC title. He won the Universal title. He won the Intercontinental. No, he didn't win the Intercontinental title.
So it's Intercontinental.
Yeah, Intercontinental, and he hasn't won the WWE title neither.
Okay.
So even though he's had the NXT title, but that was the one he hasn't had. But yeah, Charlotte Flair and Seth Rollins. I said,
All right.
I said, damn. I said that was a good one. Yeah, man. BJ told me that's a good one.
That is a good one. That was a good one.
That was a good one. Yeah, man. Oh man, I tell you, man, I love how this episode came out. I love what we brought to the table today, y'all. I think, especially we had, great questions from the stat man. Again, Mr. Xclusive giving his takes for the week. I thought that was great. But we talked about some of the, the shuffling things that happen on Monday Night Raw, Seth Rollins and all
You
that
gotta
stuff.
be kidding me.
Man, yeah, you know what? It's crazy. It's crazy because I ain't gonna cap. When I see, look, I'm gonna tell you this, man. When when the Bellas came out, I say, you know what?
I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this.
There you go.
I was sick of it. I was sick. I was, man. I really was. I was, because
well, for me, when they did the shuffling in the ring,
just 1 minute. Oh,
you gotta be kidding
I never
me.
thought.
And now y'all are messing with me because now I got an image of Missy Elliott. I can't think of the music video. I'm seeing Missy Elliott in the camera doing all
in the camera.
like this now.
can't stand the
Yeah.
ring. That one, yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm telling you, man, they was on something with that one, boy. Oh man. And then of course, with NXT, Chef Sean cooking it up. We seen what happened with Keanu carving a crash out. We seen what happened, of course, with Pretty Ricky and All Ego. Ethan Page doing his thing, some great heel work. And of course, you know what? I'd be lying if seeing '09 Orton didn't give me them rock chills.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, it
Was nasty.
gave me none but them rock chills right there. But I love to see it. Love to see it. Okay. And of course, Trick, Hollywood Trick, First Class
Papa.
Trick, Two
Oh,
Brain
no.
Trick,
Here we
Trick and
go.
A, Trick
doing it again.
way.
Tripping, y'all.
Love, come on. Hey, rock chills. You did your thing, Trick. You did your damn thing. I said, man, to see you going up against the man with the magic boot, great stuff.
Getting the
Great
dub.
stuff. I was proud of it. I was proud of it all. I think SmackDown truly was, if we're talking about Raw, SmackDown, I think that was the best part of the end of the week for real. I think it was. Of course, NXT, you did everything you're supposed to do, but SmackDown definitely delivered. So at the end of the day, man, I'm just happy about this, and hopefully Raw can deliver, man. Because I ain't gonna lie, they got Raw next. We got Raw coming up on Monday. Roman's supposed to be coming back. Apparently, we're supposed to be seeing. We're supposed to be seeing. Was it Bailey going up against AJ Lee? So
And
I
then
don't know what
Brock's
the hell
supposed to
that's
come
gonna be
back.
like.
And Brock's supposed to be back next week.
Yeah, I think so. So we gonna see how this goes, man. I ain't gonna lie.
I just hope we get the rattlesnake.
Hey, that'd be all right. It is
316 day.
Yeah, boy. So I hope we get something out of that, but we'll see. We'll see. Cause I ain't gonna lie, man. They've been playing these games, man. And I ain't for the games, man. I got a PS5 to do that. Y'all want to play all these games with me, man. Sick of it. I'm sick. But as always, please make sure y'all follow all of our social medias. Man, I tell y'all this all the time. You already know what it is. Facebook, we on that. X, we on that. Instagram, we on that. TikTok, on that as well. Hey, appreciate the love and support y'all been giving, man. We're sitting at almost 300 subscribers. Make sure y'all keep liking it up. Keep subscribing. Hey, and also, my TikTok people. That's how I found my girl Sean Diva up on here, man. Look, I appreciate the love and support y'all been giving. Shout out to my man BJ in the comments. Shout out to my man Darkwing Dub. Okay. And look, I'm gonna keep doing those exclusive debates. All right. So y'all, anytime y'all see me going live, make sure y'all tap in because we always got something to talk about. And we always got some real wrestling. And we don't even talk just about wrestling. We talk about a few other topics as well. So make sure y'all tap in. Make sure y'all like, y'all subscribe, and we're gonna keep giving you that content the exclusive way. Come on, man. Y'all already know what it is. Ah, man. But, I'm your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight. We had Sean Diva. That's
The
always going to give you
diva
the news
herself.
that you can use, as always. And we had the one man and the only man that's going to check into the Heartbreak Hotel, and that's the Heartbreak Prince himself. Because we are the exclusive nights, and we always be sure that we are the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. And to ensure that your nights will never be the same. Y'all be good, because that's
cha-cha right on out of here.